Hey everybody, I'm currently working on a couple of longer videos, but with Legends CA having recently come out, I wanted to make a quick video ranking all of the new Mega Pokemon, just to share my first impressions. And right off the bat, I've no idea what is the consensus of any of these, but I know people will disagree, so just go ahead and tell me how wrong I am. This is a ranking mostly based on visual designs, but I also consider how they were changed stats-wise to a very lesser extent. And I want to talk about how they may function in competitive in the future. So let's just get on to it with F tier and number 28.
Nobody likes me anymore! It's these stupid beats!
Megas Carmory is funny.
But not funny, haha. Funny weird.
In the worst way possible. I kind of like the concept, but the execution is dreadful. The proportions feel off, especially the feet. They are too long and slender, and the gold repainting just feels lazy. I really hate this one. But in regards to the stats, thank God they didn't keep him as a defensive stall bitch. It is now a speedy physical attacker, with decent bulk to boot. I think it will work well in that role, with access to sword stance and some decent physical attacks. And there could be interesting gameplay by keeping it in its more defensive form for a while before Mega Evolving.
Well, if all I had to do was cut a hole in a bag, I could have cut it better than this.
Megas Crafty is so boring visually. They literally just put a hoodie on this motherfucker. I literally don't have anything else to say about this one. It is lazy and uninspired. Stat-wise, it looks promising, but I think the low HP and mediocre defensive typing may keep it from being great as a bulky attacker. But with access to Drain Punch, maybe I'm wrong, and it has some nice utility in knockoff too. It could even work with Dragon Dance, with a now boosted speed that may actually allow it to pull off that sweeper set. That was F tier. Let's get on to D tier with number 26.
And black top that had sleeves to her middle arm.
Wait, what?
To her middle arm, her third of 3 arms.
Mega Barbaracle is so off-putting. It is the kind of thing that appears to you during a sleep paralysis. It is too humanoid for my taste, and the slim physique in particular makes it look really uncanny. Just a really disturbing design. But moving past the visuals, I really like the type change to rock fighting, which is a great offensive combination, and with access to Shell Smash and a great attack stat, this thing may actually be broken and instantly banned.
For his neutral special, he wields a gun.
Such a disappointment that this is the Mega for the title Pokemon. It just looks stupid, man. Mega Zygarde is like a bad fusion of Low Kicks and Syncaton, and overall looks like a bug holding a big hammer. Or just a hammer, honestly. It is silly, which isn't inherently bad, but it is bad if it is for the box legendary Mega. In regards to the stats, this shit is absurd. I know he has to be below 50% health to Mega Evolve, but the HP and special attack are kind of ridiculous. But also, it is an Uber Pokemon, so I don't really care that much, it's just kind of funny.
Step back, I think I'm gonna vomit!
Mega Victreebel is a stupid ass and silly design, which again, isn't wrong by itself, but here's the thing. Base Victreebel is actually so scary. A terrifying huge plant monster. So the fact that the Mega turns it into a camp-filled ballsack is so disappointing. I respect that they took a big swing, but this is a Pokemon that shouldn't look stupid. The Mega should be even more horrifying. I like the big leaves, but that's about it. Stats-wise, it's pretty much kept the same, being a mixed attacker with decent-ish bulk. That is fun in a vacuum, but the sad reality is that mixed attackers with this mediocre bulk or with this low speed rarely work well. An all-around disappointment.
Dragon head.
I really love how the Totodile head opens and closes around him. That is such a cool animation. But overall, Mega Feraligatr feels kind of undercooked, being way too similar to regular Feraligatr. While the animation of the Totodile jaw closing around his head is very cool, once it is upright, it just looks silly rather than menacing. Stats wise, it is still slow, but with access to Dragon Dance and max speed investment, it can reach really great speed after one boost. So with the new attack stat and a great defensive typing, I can see this one being a terrifying physical sweeper. It can also potentially be built as a slow bulky breaker, with sticky web or pivoting support, so it looks like it's going to be a versatile offensive Mega. Fun! I do hate the fact that they actually chose Feraligatr for the water starter. It should have been Empoleon, man. Gen 4 is literally the only one out of the first 6 without any variants for its starters. That is such bullshit. That was D tier. Let's get to C tier with number 22.
Also, like tweets their X's and like it's all X.
We don't have the stats for the Mega Raichus yet, but we do have the designs to judge, and the X one is definitely the bad one. I think it's cute and kind of funny, but it looks way too much like Pikachu. It looks like Mega Pikachu more so than Mega Raichu, which sucks. Like man, the color palette is literally Pikachu's and not Raichu's. Why are they so obsessed with Pikachu? Raichu's adorable too! So yeah, kind of disappointing, but at least there's another version.
Calling all the basic bitches, there's a new announcement. You're basic.
Mega Pyroar is a little too simple, but I do like it, and it fits as a normal fire-type Pokemon. What it lacks in complexity, it gains in comedy, since it is very funny that he looks like the guy with the stupid tall hair from Sword and Shield. Its plain design is complemented by stats that are also very plain, with solid special attack and speed, but average everything else, which most definitely will make this one a big competitive threat. In like, NU probably. I hated Mega Dragonite when it was first revealed, but it has grown on me a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. It still bothers me that it looks as if it terrestrialized flying, and overall it changes too little. But I do like that it remains silly and cute, as Dragonites should be. I do really like that they actually did something different with their stats as well. Instead of dialing them up to 1,000,000 so it can be an even better Dragon Dancer, it is now more of a bulky special or mixed attacker. That is different from regular Dragonite, and I appreciate it when Megas actually change how the Pokemon functions. That was C tier. Let's get on to B tier with number 19.
Just look at the flowers.
Mega Eternal Flare is pretty cute, even if it doesn't change that much from the base design. Mainly replacing its flower with a bigger flower, but hey, that bigger flower is pretty neat. And I really like that we can actually use Eternal Flare now, since I like it a lot more than regular Flare. Stats wise, it's kind of terrifying actually, with a massive special attack and special defense and also pretty good speed, while not having the worst HP and defense stats you'd imagine for a little flower fairy. So this one may actually be a very strong Mega Evolution.
Well, you love Mole Man.
No, you do. You're gay for Mole Man.
You're gay for Mole Man.
Mega Excadrill is a little too silly for a Pokemon that should be badass, but I quite like it. The concept of his whole body turning into a huge drill is very fun, but I do think the execution has some issues, mainly that the individual drills are a bit too long. I feel like he's trying not to topple over. I do like the stats though, even if they're relatively similar to how base Excadrill stats are. He is now an even stronger physical attacker, but not that fast for modern standards, which I think will keep him in check for competitive. Mega Greninja's design leans more into the ninja aspect of this Pokemon, with more blacks instead of blues and a lot more shurikens in his body. But of course, the coolest part is the big water shuriken, and how he hovers on it while upside down. Not necessarily the most interesting design, but it does have a lot of aura. Stats wise, it's kind of Greninja, but stronger, and about the same of how I designed it for my Mega Pokemon video, being a really solid mixed attacker with a huge speed stat but piss poor defenses. I think with his varied move pool, it will be very fun to use, kind of like Ash Greninja, but a lot more reasonable without access to an item. This one is a little disappointing considering how much I love regular Chandelier, not gonna lie. It is just a bigger Chandelier, having more candles on the bottom and a bigger flame at the top. But it is cool enough on its own to be on B tier, even if it's kind of carried by an already really great base visual design. Stats wise, it is quite straightforward, having an even more massive special attack and a decent speed. But now, with solid bulk, it'll be easier for it to come in and find chances to break. This one will be a fun and very good special breaker, especially with support from slow pivots or sticky web, even if I'm a little disappointed by the visual design.
I got news for you, Shadow Man. It's not slime, it's mucus!
I quite like the design of this one. It gives the uncanniness of regular Electros, and the two arm electric cannons are very neat, especially since according to its Pokédex entry, they are fake versions of electric, but made of cum. Sorry. Mucus. Not the coolest Mega design, but solid enough for B tier. The stats are a huge disappointment though. A very strong mixed attacker, but with mono electric, mediocre speed and bulk, I doubt it will actually be able to do anything. Probably dying quickly before it manages to take advantage of its attacking stats, especially if it loses Levitate upon Mega Evolving. This isn't the most creative design, basically just giving more flowers to Meganium to put on its dinosaur neck, but despite that, I really like this design. It is a silly billy, and really cute. I do wish they made the neck a little bit longer, and that it wasn't fully covered in flowers. Stats wise, with the boost it received and the new fairy typing, I think it will be a solid but probably more niche bulky special attacker, unless they give her some great ability. A sun ability? A good one though, would be very fitting for her. With access to Synthesis, Weather Ball and Solar Beam, it could function quite well on a sun team.
And she clicked on my stream because my name was Scoliosis King, so 1 point for my awesome branding. What a great day!
Mega Scolipede has some improvements and aspects to it that are very nice, like the big horns and the concept of it being armored, but at the same time it feels somewhat compacted, almost flattened in its body length. And the tiny legs don't complement well this new concept of a bulky armored centipede. Overall, I do lean more positively about this design, but I do have my issues with it. I'm not so sure about the change in stats though, trading a lot of speed for bulk. I'm clearly not opposed to changing how a Pokemon works, but Scolipede simply doesn't have the typing or the HP to pull off being a slow bulky attacker. It does have speed boost in its base form, so you could use Protect to get 1 speed boost, but having to give up a move slot when you want to use Sword Stance and then 3 of its many coverage options isn't great. I definitely like this one a lot more than the X version. This one actually looks like Raichu, and it is a good and natural Mega Evolution for the Pokemon, keeping its color palette instead of using Pikachu's, and making aspects of base Raichu more prominent, especially the ears. My biggest issue with it is that it just seems too small. We still don't have the in-game model for this one, but just going off the designs we've seen so far, it looks even shorter than regular Raichu, which I don't love for a Mega.
Hey there Shinji, just get in the fucking robot.
They took a silly Pokemon and made him even sillier, and I happen to enjoy that. It's basically what if the phalanx forming a line instead stood up on top of each other and formed a goddamn mech. I particularly like how the phalanx in the center is struggling with the weight. That's a very charming detail. The buff stats are pretty straightforward, but I think it will actually allow him to be really good with his no retreat Omni Boost.
Oh look! It's the good fairy! She'll know what to do!
The Mega I was the least excited for by far. I thought it was a terrible idea to give Clefable a new Mega, but now that we actually have the design, I really like it. It is very cute and I love the beret. This is outright a fairy, with fairy wings and everything. It is now a bulky special attacker, and hopefully they actually give her good special flying attacks. But even if they don't, Clefable historically has an incredible special move pool, so I think that will make it really solid in this role. Hopefully it doesn't keep Magikarp on Mega Evolving though, because if it does, get ready for hell. Mega Hawlucha builds on an already really fun concept for its visual design, being a very natural progression of the base form, feeling more grandiose and badass as a wrestler. It does feel very safe, but I like it a lot. The stats changes are quite simple, with better bulk and considerably higher attack, not changing its speed. Not the most interesting in that sense, but with a very good offensive typing, this will probably be a very solid physical sweeper. And that was B tier. Let's get on to A tier with number 8.
Yeah, this is big brain time.
Mega Malamar is very cool, substantially changing the base design and doing something quite new with the Mega, heavily leaning into the hypnosis concept. The whole design has an otherworldly feeling to it, clearly inspired by classic imagery of aliens, with the thin body and tentacles, the way it levitates, and in particular the big brain, which is also very funny. The stats are absolute ass though.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
Well-rounded overall, but with such a low base stat total for a Mega, you can't afford to do that. You have to min-max it to make it work. This is some Gen 1 ass-type stat spread, so unless the ability is incredible, this one will continue to be underwhelming in competitive.
The devastating cyber attack by Al-Qaeda, which sent this image of a piglet wearing boots to the American public a few hours ago.
This is really cool, by far the best out of the starter trio, and definitely a glow-up over regular Ember, who is just kind of boring. I love that this design has more grace to it, and a sense of honor. This guy is a kung fu master. Would not look out of place in the Kung Fu Panda movies. It is very clearly inspired by the image of an ancient Chinese warrior, and it all around looks badass. Stats-wise, it's a bit all over the place, with solid HP and special defense, but poor defense, pretty good special attack and great attack, but not the best speed to take advantage of his mixed attacking stats. I think this one may be kind of awkward to use and fit on teams. I see it being more of a niche option.
What's on the menu? Legs. What's on the menu? Legs.
Mega Starmie is cursed as fuck, but I don't care. This guy is hilarious. It is 7 feet tall and has human legs. This shit is horrifying. I love them. It is ugly in the exact way a Pokemon should be ugly. In this channel, we stand how uncanny Mega Starmie turned out to be. I also really love what they did with the stats, turning them into a fast mix attacker. But with some really solid bulk on both defenses. I can see Mega Starmie being a huge comeback for Starmie, with it working both as an offensive threat, but also as a support Pokemon with the great tools it's always had, such as Rapid Spin, Recover, and Thunder Wave.
What also floats in water? A duck!
I really love Mega Delphox. The ear hair continues to be stupid, and it is missing a witch hat still, but I love the broom concept, and the floating fiery sticks around her are the cherry on top. That is very fun for this Mega. I love the mischievous look she has, and the black fur looks great, looking like a black witch dress. Stats wise, it is a straightforward upgrade to regular Delphox, mainly boosting special attack, with speed and special defense being boosted to a lower extent. With Nasty Plot, I feel this one could be a really scary breaker and or sweeper, especially if it gets a good ability unlike its base form.
Harley Quinn, you gave me cancer?
Mega Dragalge is a glow up for an already really cool Pokemon. I think the long hair, is it hair? Is a bit too much, but overall it feels like a very natural expansion of the base form, expanding very well on the algae concept in particular. This design feels a lot more evil and menacing, which is what a Mega should accomplish. Competitively, it looks very solid too, with great typing and bulky stats. I think it will be a really fun special attacker, but also a great special wall, especially with its access to Flip Turn to function as a support pivot. That was A tier. Let's get into S tier and my top 3 new Megas.
Who are you? We are the knights who say...
Mega Chesnaught looks amazing. I love the big knight concept. It reminds me of Hegemol from Hollow Knight, which I recently played and loved. This one is honestly a perfect design. I don't love regular Chesnaught, so this is a huge glow up. I love the spiky armor around his body, the big mace sword he has, the helmet on his head, and especially the cape. It makes him look regal and graceful while simultaneously menacing and strong. Overall, really amazing design. And the stats complement it very well, being an upgrade that plays to Chesnaught's strength, with the defense stat in particular being gigantic. I think this will be very good both as a bulky attacker and a defensive support Pokemon, with great options in spiky shields, synthesis, spikes, and leech seed. This was the biggest and nicest surprise by far. Beautiful design.
I'm cold too.
Well, damn, Jackie, I can't control the weather.
Mega Frostlass is a fucking incredible design. It perfectly builds from its base design and lore of her being a woman who kills guys in the snow, now truly feeling like a mythical ice witch. There is a huge sense of creepiness and grace to this design. I love it. It has the perfect proportion as well. Had it been a little bit taller, it would fall into the uncanny, and had it been a little bit shorter, it wouldn't have had the same effect. I adore this one. In regards to the stats, it is a very straightforward boost to it, making it a great speedy special attacker, but I actually don't mind the simplicity in this case, since it will finally be good in that role. With 2 great offensive staffs and Nasty Plot, this will be a great sweeper, balanced out by its awful defensive typing, being very weak to prominent priority such as Bullet Punch and Sucker Punch. But if you support it well, especially with good hazard control, it will be really strong. And for my number 1 spot, it could be none other than Mega Drampa, which is something I never thought I'd say. The longer I stare at this one, the more I love it. He went from being a very derpy Chinese dragon into a very scary, majestic, and menacing Chinese dragon. I love the color palette, with the black clouds in particular being a great touch. Its chill nature now turned tempestuous and dangerous. It is amazing. Though I don't get why he is sponsored by Windows, what is up with that? He still is a slow special attacker, but with improved bulk and its varied special move pool, I think it may work as a special breaker very well, but probably not fitting on every team and being more of a niche option, something akin to Ursalune. I do think it will be a huge menace in doubles on Trick Room teams, so that's fun. Mega Drampa is so incredible, and my favorite new Mega from Legends CA. So, that's the list. I can't wait for people to tell me how wrong I am. Legends CA as a game looks like complete ass, the pricing makes it feel like a shameless cash grab, and the ways you unlock some of these megas, especially the Kalos starters, is an absolute travesty. But despite that, I am very glad that they brought back megas, and I mostly feel positively about the new ones. Pretty good stuff. As usual, subscribe, comment, like, and that entire algorithm jazz. If you liked, make me sure to let me know to boost my ego. If you didn't, let me know in what way I could improve, but be respectful, or I will cry. Okay guys, have a good one.